Hey, what's up, Joe Joe in the morning family? I hope everybody is having a super good day. I want to do something a little bit different this week. Recently, in one of our corporate prayer meetings, I was praying and the Lord just downloaded 5 powerful prophetic thoughts into my spirit. And so I was thinking, 5 thoughts. Joe Joe in the morning has 5 shows a week. Why don't I drop 5 of the prophetic thoughts, one each day, and then kind of expound on them? So here we go, Monday. Let's have a great day. We're going to start this off. First word I want to share with you is, it was a funny one, okay? And so if you're going to do this, we're going to do it right on a Monday. I'm going in. Cover me. You've heard that expression. You've watched those action movies or police movie, detective movie, army, war, whatever. Cover me. I'm going in. And when I heard that, the first thing that came to my mind was Esther and Mordecai. I absolutely love that story in the Bible about a young teenage girl who just basically told Mordecai and the Jewish people, cover me, I'm going in. And I want you to think about this. In life, if you're going to do something powerful, if you're going to do something great with your life, you are going to have a group of people who will fast and pray for you. I've got people in my life that will say, hey man, just want to let you know I'm fasting for you on Monday. I got people who call me and say, hey, I'm going on a 3-day fast and I'm going to dedicate one of my days to you, your family, and your ministry. Man, that means the world to me. And so you got to have people who will agree with you in prayer, because if you're going to do something and you don't have intercessors and you don't have backup and you don't have people praying for you, there's a great chance you're not going to make it. This is how I see intercessors in my spirit. Imagine somebody was going to battle, and I love like the medieval times. I love that. I love movies that are kind of in that, time frame, kind of like the King Arthur. I love that movie and stuff, even like Gladiator, a little different time, but stuff like that. But I see an intercessor being somebody on a tall wall with the bow and arrow watching you. If anybody gets near you, they shoot those arrows, That's how I see an intercessor. Somebody who is looking down and shooting and just praying against anything that they feel trying to come against you. All right. Well, let's jump into Esther 4:13 through 16. And Mordecai told them to answer Esther, do you not think in your heart that you will escape in the king's palace any more than any other Jews? Of all the Jews, do you think you're going to escape? He said, for if you remain completely silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place, and you and your father's house will perish. Yet who knows whether you have come into the kingdom for such a time as this. I'll come back to that in a minute. Verse 15, then Esther told them, reply back to Mordecai, go and gather all the Jews who are present, and I ask you to please fast with me. Neither eat nor drink for 3 days or 3 nights. My maids and I will fast likewise. And so I will go to the king, which is against the law. And if I perish, I perish. Okay? Now let's go back up to this. That if you don't do what you're called to do know this, that it will get done. Somebody will do what you're called to do, but there'll be a group of people that will suffer because of it. There'll be a generation that you were supposed to reach, a generation in your family. I remember it was Ed Millett said this one time. He said, whenever you see a family that are millionaires, somebody was the first millionaire. If you ever see a line of people in a family that's in ministry, somebody was the first minister. If you see a line of people who own a family business, somebody was the first one. I was talking to a gentleman one day, and very wealthy, and he said when he was younger, he said, "Dad, how long have you had this business?" And he said, "Well, he got it from his dad." He said, "Well, how long did Granddad own it?" He said, "Well, Granddad got it from your great-granddad." He said, "Well, how long did he have?" He said, "Well, your great-granddad got it from his great-great-granddad." And it just kind of, and this guy said, I think it was 6 generations that this business we had was like 6 generations deep. But somebody had to start it. Somebody had to plant that seed of faith and start whatever it is. You know, there's people that are in ministry that their parents, you know, had a great legacy for them. But somebody along the way had to put in some hard work, okay? Somebody along the way. Let's say I've been around some families who are very wealthy, very wise in business and investing, and their kids are just different. They're brought up with a different mindset. It's just like if you have a powerful minister, their kids should act different because they're brought up that way. You know, I know some people who played professional sports. Their kids were brought up with the mindset of being, their parents being professional sports. And it's just the way they think is geared towards how their parents are. And so if you don't do what you're called to do, your family members and friends and the people around you, to a degree, they will suffer. But what you're called to do will get done eventually. But it may not just be in this generation. It's like what Mordecai was saying, you know, maybe you have Esther came into the kingdom for such a time as this, to be like a deliverer to the Jewish people. But if you don't, you know, you and your parents' household will be wiped away. But somebody will come do the will of the Lord. But who knows? It could be you. So let me ask you, you may be the first millionaire in your family. You may be the first business owner. You may be the first minister. I know people who have said that, you know, families were, young couples say both of our families were divorced. Everybody's divorced. And they said, we're going to be the first ones not to get a divorce. Okay? There's a few things when I was little I said I would never be and I would never get. And one of the things I said I would never do in my life is I would never get a divorce. And, you know, there's different people. Like I've heard people that grew up poor, had good parents, but they were just poor. And they said, I will not be poor when I get older. And I will provide and I will help my parents. And so sometimes you need to tell your family, cover me. I'm going in. And I'm about to go for something. And when I do, pray for me. My middle child, Judah, she was speaking at her school chapel the other day. And she said, hey, you know, y'all cover me by 10 o'clock. Cover me. I'm going to go speak. I'm speaking, and I'm going to speak the truth. And I'm excited about it. You know, like whenever I travel and I'm about to, you know, after the worship or the prophetic time or whatever at church, I'm about to preach. I text in a group family, you know, group text my wife, our 3 kids, my mom, and my mother and father-in-law. I text them like, hey, I'm about to preach, hook me up. Now, my wife does that. She says, hey, I'm about to preach, you know, and cover me. I'm going in. And so a lot of times business appointments, you know, I mean, I'm about to step into some big business appointments over the next few weeks. And I'll text people like, hey, you know, I got prayer partners, cover me. I'm going in. Now let's go on. And Esther, this is where this comes from. Esther was like, hey, Mordecai, I want you and all the Jewish people to fast and pray with me because I'm about to do something that's not supposed to be done. I'm about to do something that is against the, don't do things that are against the law. That's not what I'm saying. Some of you took that the wrong way. But she was not supposed, no one goes to the king unannounced, okay? But she was going to the king unannounced and was expecting the favor of God to be upon her. And so she told them like, hey, I need y'all to pray for me. You just believe with me because cover me. I'm going in. I'm going to do this thing. And you know what? If I perish, I perish. But I got a feeling that the favor and the blessing of God's going to be upon me. And so, things worked out. And the very people that were coming against the Jewish people, they had their consequence. And so don't be scared when you know the favor of God is on your side. Move forward and advance the kingdom of God and whatever He's called you to do. But a few things. One, you got to be like Queen Esther. You got to be bold, and you've got to say, I'm doing this thing. If I perish, I perish. If it doesn't work out, but I know I'm supposed to do it, and I'll move forward in it. But get some people around you to fast and pray. Get some people who love you enough to devote some time to pray for you, to see you through. That's why on all these broadcasts I always say, hey, if you need prayer, go to the website, joejoedawson.net, and go to the contact button, hit it, send me a prayer request. Because I just like to pray briefly over every person. Why? Because in life we need somebody that will pray with us and agree with us in prayer. Same thing, it's like our financial partners that sow into our ministry. Every morning when I get up and I go through the day before, I pray over every financial partner. Why? Because when you sow, you give me the availability to do what I'm called to do. To be able to do Joe Joe in the morning, prophetic weekly, and if I need people to help me do other things, I'm able to hire. Our staff gets paid off of our partners. I thank you for that. And so you need to understand, if you need help in something, don't be afraid to ask somebody to pray. Don't be afraid to ask somebody, hey, would you mind, praying with me over, some people they're struggling on their marriage or in business or whatever. But just everybody needs intercessors in their life, and they need people. And a lot of times you can have a prayer partner, that you can have somebody. And I got some friends that we pray for one another. We hook each other up with messages like, hey, pray with me about this, this ministry, this business, And so you just need people in your life, okay? Joe Joe in the Morning family, I absolutely love you guys, and I hope y'all have a super, super blessed day, and I'll talk to y'all soon.